This may have been one of the fastest turnarounds I've seen from Blizzard on updating a 4-piece. The changes are a major improvement from what it was, and definitely adds a little bit more punch to the tier set. Are the issues fixed? Not quite, but we're getting there. Let's dive into it. So this change did two things. The first is Blizzard removed the free Templar's Verdict or Final Verdict after consuming Divine Purpose. So this is an insanely healthy change and alleviates one of my biggest concerns for the 4-piece. The previous version just took away some agency and really flooded us with resources. We were going to have a spell priority disaster, and thankfully that's been avoided. We were running towards a situation where everything was going to be available. We had too much holy power, and really our rotation wasn't going to matter outside of spending. It's a good thing this was fixed. The second change here is providing 2 charges of the Divine Arbiter buff after Divine Purpose has been consumed. So this is a little bit weird to me. I mean, more big booms is good, but it is over a little larger of a window of time than I'd probably prefer. It'll be a little different in a raid, but on a dummy, it just wasn't super exciting to play with. The second charge does make the rotation fairly prescriptive for this combo, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just not certain it's a good thing either. If you just take a look, it will always be Divine Storm into a Final Verdict, and then build a bit unless you have 3 Holy Power available, and then Final Verdict again. That's it. And so I have 3 complaints, and there are a couple things I'll tack on to. So the Divine Storm primer on Single Target still feels pretty bad. The payoff is unquestionably worth it, but Divine Storm is just a weak button on Single Target. This set bonus could use something to add more value to that first part of the combo. Secondly, and the opposite situation is somewhat true as well. On AoE, I want to spend all of my spenders on Divine Storm. Mixing in 2 Templar's Verdicts in there just to get a Divine Arbiter proc, even though it's relatively strong, I don't really think is a good gameplay loop. Single target in AoE and AoE in single target, that's a little bit counterintuitive. It's fine, I guess, but I don't love it. I don't think switching it to be 2 charges of Divine Arbiter was really that necessary. Blizzard could have just doubled the damage on the first instance of Divine Arbiter, and it probably would have achieved a more fun and more enjoyable result. And lastly, we didn't see any further interaction changes based on our hero talents. This 2-piece and 4-piece clearly favors Herald of the Sun. For you Herald of the Sun enjoyers, this is great news, but for those that enjoy Templar more, you might have to switch things up a bit for a patch. It is too early to tell, but this tier set is an early indicator of what we might play. I mean, having on-demand access to Divine Arbiter during cooldowns is actually huge and just flat out better, and Templar could have a hard time keeping up with that. Lots of tuning is going to come over the next few weeks before we really know for certain. And I do want to make one note here is that this buff tracking isn't fully functional in the cooldown manager yet, so it's a little bit funky to track. Just a note there, not a huge issue, but they'll resolve it at some point in the future. So let's look at some longs here. On a single target encounter, the force set's going to add up to around 4.3% for both Templar and Herald of the Sun. However, Herald of the Sun was already ahead in overall damage done, so it does do more overall here. I wasn't playing perfectly by any means, this was just to get a general idea of performance and do some initial testing, but the 4-piece is just clearly better for Herald of the Sun. On AoE, I only really did testing for Herald of the Sun. It's definitely meaningful, and I think we're actually getting more mileage out of our 2-piece though. I mean, with an 80% uptime on the 2-piece, give or take, that's going to translate to about an 8 or 9% damage increase. And so if we combine the 2-piece plus the 4-piece, it's going to be somewhere between probably a 13 to 15% boost to our damage, which I think is probably on the higher end as far as tier sets go. I mean, I don't know what any of the other classes are looking like right now, but that's probably a decent place to land. We'll see. But I'm not sold this tier set bonus is ready to ship. I do think it's headed in the right direction, but I think it needs some work. So, Blizzard, please take another look. You're headed in the right direction, but let's just do a little bit more here. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel and feel free to support on Patreon. We have some really cool stuff over there. Go ahead and check it out. We'll see you in the next one.